Elevate Your Value Summit audience. I trust you are having a wonderful time listening to all my speakers. You have got your pen and your paper, you're taking notes, you're noting websites, speakers you want to get back to, because the reason why we're here is to elevate your value. Wherever you are, what you're trying to do, there's a speaker here that can guide you. And I have a speaker here with me right now who what I would call the guidance extraordinaire. Her name is Carmella Johnson, and she's a seasoned mental health professional. And we know mental health is being talked about a lot these days. It is a lot going on in many communities, so it's so important. So we love that we've got a professional with us right now. She has two thriving organizations. She has this group I'm a part of called the Arise Powerhouse Group. And you got to get on that. She'll tell you more about it. And then she's got this other group called the Making It Happen Women. And that's how we met. I spoke on her stage, I guess it's 3 years now. I don't even remember. It was in
2 years.
Chicago, that
I
I
think it's
recall.
2 years. It was 2
2 years.
years ago in Chicago. Yeah.
And it was wonderful how she was just filling us. And I should have put my crown on that I got that day. It was a beautiful event. I'm so excited to have her with me on my Elevate Your Value stage. Welcome, Carmela. Tell us a little bit more
Hello,
about
hello.
yourself.
My name is My name is Carmela Rochelle. On social media, I'm known as Carmela Rochelle, but I'm Carmela Johnson. Hello, everyone. A little bit about me. Well, as Dr. Carter already said, I am a mental health therapist. I specialize actually in women. For years, I specialized in families and abuse and trauma victims, and youth also that have been through trauma and abuse. Oh, let's see what else about me. So much. I taught psychology on the collegiate level, on the university level for over 20 years. And right now I am doing the Arise Powerhouse. I love my women, and Dr. Elizabeth Carter is one there. And I also have a branding and marketing company that just molds over into what I am doing with, it's called Arise Branding. And I help women in business brand themselves and their business to glorify who they are so that they can really reach their people. I help their business arise as well. So I have three amazing young men from ages 30, I'm 56, ages 37 to 25, and I have two beautiful grandbabies. I know everybody says their grandbabies are beautiful, right? But mine is. So that's me.
Well, that is awesome. I'm sure they're all saying she looks too young to be a grandmother.
Well,
Well,
I'm a grandma.
congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Awesome. So you taught, I didn't even know that you were a professor at a university for a long time,
Mhm.
teaching, and of course you have this passion for empowering women. So what really
Yes.
drew you, and you really have been doing some talks lately about the notion of elevated self-care. So what
Yeah.
drew you to really focus in on that aspect, and especially with women?
Well, it started with my own story. Being a therapist and helping so many women. I have even spoken in South Africa. I've spoken in different organizations all around the country. And one thing I noticed, no matter where women were, who were make it happen women, right? That we tend to make it happen in the areas of business. We tend to make it happen for our friends. We make it happen for our family, for our children. We can tell everybody where their socks are. I like to say if a make it happen woman had a goat in the backyard, that would be the best kept goat in the world. However, when it comes to herself, she tends to push things away, push things behind, not really take care of herself mentally, emotionally, and her own relationships as how she relates in the relationships, her body and her finances. And we'll talk about that a little bit later. But we tend to not fully take care of ourselves, do what I call elevated self-care. I noticed that I would go get my hair done. I would go and get my nails done. I would go and have my pedicures. I would go have my girls' day. I would go have bay day, all of those days, the day, I would be done. However, when it came to, I remember one day, Dr. E, this will sum it all up. I remember one day I was driving, I was on the way to one of the colleges that I taught at, and I started feeling kind of funny. And I looked up and I was on the side of the road and a paramedic was hitting on the glass, on the glass of the truck I was in, my truck. And I couldn't roll the window down. So they did something, they opened the car and I fell out. And then I remember waking up again and I was in the ambulance. Dr. E, I had IVs in me and I found out I had had seizures. I looked at the time and then I looked at the time and I said, I have to be in class. Where's my phone? Where's my phone? They said, your phone's right here. I literally called the dean. I told him I am running a little late, but keep the students there. I'm on my way. Dr. E, I took the IV out of my arm and I went to work.
Goodness.
And I got that done. However, at the mental health clinic that I'm a supervisor at, because I was also at the same time now, I was making it happen. I was clocking. I was making the money, Dr. E. But I remember walking through the lobby, going to get one of my, because I was a supervisor there, so I was going to get one of the trainers, and I felt funny again. And again, Dr. E, I woke up and there were paramedics over me. I had a seizure. I went, they put me on the monitors and they said, you've been having seizures. We see the lesions where you've been having seizures. And I said, yeah, well, I have been. And the neurologist said, if you don't stop driving, I'm going to take your license. And I looked at him and I pled with him, please don't do that. I have to work. I was so busy not taking care of me, trying to take care of everybody else. I was a therapist, right? I was holding together families. I was doing therapy with mothers whose children had been abused. I was doing therapy with the sheriff's department. I was supervisor, psychology professor. I had it all. I had a beautiful family, had it all together, but I wasn't taking care of me. Even though I was getting my hair done, my nails done. I was crying in the shower because I was hurting. There was all kind of things happening to me and I wasn't taking care of myself mentally, emotionally, in my relationships, physically, nor financially. All that money I made, Dr. Ian, I looked up and somebody else had used it to do some things with it and my bills weren't being paid. Ouch. But I had it together, right? But don't we do that though? We take care of it. We take care of it for everybody. I was making sure that the savings was stacked. The truck had the rims. We had an extra car. The kids had 4 and 5 and 6 pair of Nikes when we were going to Foot Locker. I had it together, Dr. E, but I didn't. Why? Because I was not taking care of me. So to answer your question, when I looked around at the thousands and hundreds of thousands, and I dare to say millions of women who take care of everybody else, but they do not take care of themselves, or they think they do because they go and get their hair and their nails done and they binge watch Netflix and sweats. That's not self-care. Self-care, when you elevate your self-care, Dr. E, all those things that made me take those IVs out of my arms, I would be addressing that, Dr. E. All of those things that made me not confront in a logical, sensible, sensible boundaries, all those things that made me not do that, I would have addressed those. All those things when my body was telling me, I am giving out on you, I would have addressed that. All of that just entrusting somebody else with my finances because we're married, I would have taken care of that. So now that I've learned some things, it would be remiss of me to not teach now what I know. That's why I do what I do.
That is wonderful. And you are so right. So many of us have been through a lot, and we're not
Yes.
thinking that somebody else could actually learn from what we've been through. And we just said, oh,
Yes.
maybe it's just me. Nobody needs to understand what I'm going through. Nobody else is doing this. I can't help
Mm,
anybody, but
mm,
everybody has something to share with somebody else. They may not know who yet,
yes.
They just have to get out there and share. So I love that. So then at what point did you finally say to yourself, this is it? You started, literally tearing the IVs out of your arm. You finally said, you know what? Let me just stay put in this ambulance and let them fix me.
I honestly said that after I was forced to sit. What happened was because I had been diagnosed with lupus and the pain would sometimes get excruciating, but I kept working, as I said before, because I had to make it happen. So I kept working and I ended up falling. The pain would get so bad I couldn't really move my legs, but I kept trying to walk. So I fell and crazy, but I herniated a disc. They said it was frontal herniated and in the back. So it almost like exploded in my back and I kept going. Well, that disc ended up slipping and cutting off circulation in my body to the bottom part of my body. So I ended up, it was shutting my body down. And I ended up going to the hospital one day and they said, if you don't have surgery within 24 hours, you're going to die within 72. Your body's shutting down. I still didn't get it. I still was like, okay, well, I need to go get my children settled. I need to go do this. And it took my mother literally shaking me to tell me, you are not going anywhere. You're going to take care of yourself. So I had the surgery. When I woke up from the surgery, I was in a wheelchair, of course. But then when it came time for me to get out of that wheelchair, it wasn't happening. I had developed something called myasthenia gravis. And what that is, it's a disease that takes the strength from your muscles. So literally, I ended up in the wheelchair. They told me I also needed, because of lupus, that I was going to need a kidney transplant and that I would never walk again because there was no cure for myasthenia gravis. And it kept taking the strength and I couldn't even feed myself. At one point, my kids had to help feed me because I couldn't even move my arms. And so really being in that wheelchair and dealing with what that was, I said, okay, okay, this is it. So it wasn't like I just made the decision, like you need to stop, but it was God allowing something to happen to make me sit and say, okay, you can blame that person, you can blame that person, you can blame this, but ultimately, I've given you the power to take care of yourself. And you've chosen not to do that because you want to have PPS syndrome, because you've accepted PPS syndrome. PPS syndrome is people pleasing syndrome. That is when we're so busy wanting to please, we have a need because we don't feel valued. We have a need to please people, even to the detriment of ourselves. And that's what all of that was. And so I got to the point to where I'm watching my children. And my mother said to me one day, Carmela, if you die, the people that you're so busy trying to please, they're going to walk over you. Those companies that you're helping build, they're going to walk over you and keep going. And that's exactly what happened. That's exactly what happened, Dr. E. And so I had to realize, Carmela, stop it. Take care of you. And that's when. And it even got to the point where I took care of myself, asking the Lord, what do I do? So much to the point that, as you can see, I'm no longer in a wheelchair. Haven't been in over 10 years now and will never go back again. So yeah, that's why.
Blessing. That's a blessing. And it's
Yeah.
wonderful that you were able to be at a point where you were able to recover. So often people get to the point and they're at the end and there is no
Mhm.
coming back. So that's a beautiful point to say you were almost there, but you said, no, no,
Mhm.
this is it. I've got to make this change. And you were not going to let, the statistics that said you'll never walk again deter you from trying to walk. So that's a
That's
beautiful.
right.
And that's even in life. There are so many people telling us what we can't do, what we're not good at.
Mhm.
Why are you doing that?
Mhm.
And we just end up
Mhm.
crippled, basically, not wanting to get up and move forward and get out of our own way. So that's what a wonderful story. And my Elevate Your Value listeners, I hope you're hearing this and thinking about who might that be in your life that's telling
Mhm.
you who you're trying to please and they're not appreciating you or they don't deserve it or maybe they do. It's so important to take care of you first because you're right. When you're gone, they'll have to figure it out. So why can't they figure
Yeah.
it out while you're still here to be able to guide them and allow
Mhm.
them to be who they are? We're not saying we're abandoning them. We're saying
No.
that we love them, but
Yes.
it's going to take more time for ourselves. I love that because I know I'm bad at that too. So now that you have these businesses and you
Hmm.
are working with women, especially,
Hmm.
what was one point in time when you said, "I have arrived"?
Oh gosh, I don't think that even now, even sitting here, even having the honor of coming on here and speaking to your people, um, your attendees, I don't feel that I have arrived. But what I do feel is that I've gone through too much to not, and I'm stable enough now. So let me say that I'm stable enough now to say, okay, if you can help people, you need to do that. If you're stable enough now, if you're healed enough now, okay, if you have enough strategies now, not that I can help everybody because I can't, but those that I can, who will, who want the help, who want to listen, who want to get the strategies, who want to even come like you come to the Yellow Couch conversations. Not that I have um, all the answers, but this is what I can do. I can share what I do have, just in case it can help someone else. It can elevate someone else. It can help someone else arise over what they've been through. If I can share the techniques and the strategies I learned, even as a therapist that I practiced all those years, and then having to apply them to me. So not only helping thousands of others, not only teaching other principals, administrators, people who were going into counseling, other therapists, not only doing counselors, not only doing that for numerous years, but if I can now come over here and get with those women who are just like me, where you make life happen, but you just need to learn how to elevate your self care to the level that you're healing, that is no longer superficial, but that you're even brave enough to go back and get those things that are pulling you back, examine them and say, nope, I'm not going to deal with that anymore. Nope, I'm going to heal from that. This is no longer going to be in my bag. People say, oh, I was triggered, but, or I went from 0 to 100 really quickly. No, you are already at 80. And no, it's not that you were triggered, but the barrel was already loaded. There was hurt in there. There was rejection in there. There was anxiety in there. There was tiredness in there. There was overweight in there. There was your body not functioning right in there. There was being broke all the time. There was spending when you shouldn't be spending. There was eating when you shouldn't be eating. There was complaining. There was the negative thoughts. There was lack of hope. All of those things were already in the barrel, in the chamber. So it's not that you were triggered and then you just went off. But as if something was already in there. So the my whole zone, my whole focus, I'm laser focused, Dr. E, on helping women realize how to take those things out of that trigger, out of that barrel, so that even if somebody hits that trigger, it doesn't go off. Why? Because the gun's not full. And even when the things start, I call them embers. We talked about that the other night. I call them embers. When those things are right under, look at the bottom of the camera, they're right under the bottom. When they start coming up, ooh, I realize, okay, I have to handle some stuff. Because most of us are really, we function here.
Mhm.
Stuff going on all the time. We're tired. People are on our nerves. We're frustrated. We feel unappreciated. We feel abandoned. Our past is still there. People say something to us. We don't feel like we're seen. We don't feel like we're heard. We don't feel like we can speak. We function in that all the time. So we're used to it. But why? Why? Let's take it down. Let's heal. Let's take care of ourselves. Let's find out what the embers are so that we have that peace. So we're not going from 0 to 100. But at the most we go to might be 50. Why? Because 51 to 100 is not even, it's not where we go anymore. Because we've grown and we've healed. That's what elevated self-care does.
That's phenomenal, phenomenal. I love that. So in that space, when women are coming to you, what is their problem? Where are they in that? I'll say sections of what you just described around how we end up with these embers and where we might trigger ourselves to explode, basically?
A lot of women that come to the powerhouse, or to me, I get the messages, or they'll get their consultation, or they'll come to me for coaching. A lot of them are having problems in a marriage or a relationship, but they've had a breakup. So now they're at the point to where they're like, okay, I need some help, or things are going wrong with their kids. Others don't want to be around their family anymore, whether it be mom, father, primary family at the holidays and things like that. There's problems on their job. Their career has not gone the way that they want to go, or they are getting out of an abusive relationship, or they're still in an abusive relationship and wanting to get out of the relationship. And then, Dr. E, I do have those few that come and they say, I heard what you said on the podcast. I heard what you said on the Yellow Couch Conversation. I heard what you said when you spoke at this forum. I heard what you said when you were on stage at this church, or when you were on stage in Cape Town. I heard what you were saying, or when you were on the radio, I heard you. I need to understand more about what you're talking about. And so then when we get to talking and I ask them some questions, they say, well, I do have a problem sleeping because I think about when I was molested and I can't say anything to my mom, or when my dad left and I feel abandoned all the time, or I feel like I'm working at this job for this company, I'm giving my all and it's just not good enough. Nothing I do is good enough. So they've come to me in various situations, but to be honest with you, and it may sound crazy, but to be honest with you, most of us are more alike than we're different. And a lot of them, it's the basic principles of things, it's the basic problems. And that is the taking care of ourselves. But a lot of us, think about it for a second. When are we really taught these things that I'm talking about here? When are we really taught these things? Women are taught how to wash our bodies. We're taught how to do our hair. We're taught how to put our makeup on. We're taught how to be pretty. We're taught how to sit up straight. We're taught to get an education. We're taught to talk right. Some of us are taught, don't, I'm sick, don't. And then some of us are taught, no, you be a lady. You don't say that. But when are we taught how to really say to ourselves, what's wrong? How are you doing? Well, I'm not doing too good right now. What they said really bothered me. Okay, let's break down why it bothered you. Okay, you couldn't sleep last night. Let's break down why. When are we really taught to have those in-depth conversations with ourselves and then to respect and honor ourselves enough to listen to ourselves, to listen to our bodies? These are not things that we're taught. Who teaches us? Our mothers didn't know. Why? Because our mothers were make it happen women. Our mothers were making life happen, taking care of the kids, taking care of the house, cutting grass, doing all these things, doing all these things. Mom didn't have time to teach us that. Her mother didn't have time to teach her that. So this low level, look at where my hand is, this low level of self-care to no care. It's been passed down. We've learned this. But then we get here, we get some education, so we bring it up here and we say, I can go get my hair done, my nails done. I can go and I can go with my girls, have a girls trip. I can go to Nordstrom's, I can go to Saks, I can go to TJ Maxx, I can go to Ross, I can go to Kmart and Target. But that's not really helping you. You're cute, but you're hurting. So let's get beautiful on the inside. Let's find that beauty on the inside. Let's heal on the inside. Because really, when it comes down to it, if you're healed on the inside, you can put on a t-shirt, a pair of sweats, have your hair in a bun at the top of your head, have on just some little stud earrings, girl, and shine.
Mm-hmm. I love it. I love it. I love it. Now, when we think about, and I love how you really answered the next question, which was why do they feel that way? And you're so right. It's about generationally, we never saw conversations. So even if we think about our parents, our grandparents, everybody was working, everybody had something to do. They were too busy, and you never saw them talk, or maybe you saw them fight, and that still wasn't even having a conversation. You never
No.
did see this essence of coping or self care. because they didn't know what
Hmm.
that was either. They would, again, like you said, trying to, survive, wanting to make sure
Yeah.
their family was wonderful, making sure, and then they go to the grave, and then it just says a loving, loving
Mm.
wife and mother.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's so I love what you're saying, and it's so true around we need to start to teach that to our children,
Yes.
grandchildren, nieces, nephews, everybody, because we need to show the things that we didn't learn, and we
That's
need to
right.
be able to empower these next generations because it's not going to get any easier out here. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Love
Yeah.
that. I love that. So provide to the audience just a few simple tips. You've got
Hmm.
people talking about the emblems, talking about self care, and I always laugh because self care is just not about going to the gym and doing some
No.
exercise. There's a lot, self care is a whole lot more than that. So, what are
Yes.
some quick things somebody can say? You know what? If she's right, I really need to just step back and start being a PPP, the people pleaser.
So let me give you three quick tips. Three quick elevated self-care tips. One, ask yourself throughout the day. Look yourself in the mirror. Even if you're driving, you have your rearview mirror there. When you're doing your makeup in the morning, you have your bathroom mirror there. When you're washing your face at night, you have your mirror there. Do at least 3 check-ins a day. Hey, how you doing? Whatever your name is. My name is Carmela. Hey, Carmela, how are you? Dr. E. Hey, Dr. E, how are you? Hi, Elizabeth. How are you? How are you doing today? What happened in your day? How did you feel in your day? What were some blessings in your day that took place today? What are some things that got on your last nerve today? And then talk them out. Talk them out to yourself. And then say, okay, all right. So now that we know that happened, we have this to be thankful for, that to be thankful for. We had these two things that happened. So how can we handle them now? What can we do about them now? You can't control them, but you can control you. So what can we do about them now? And if it was something that got you triggered, we have that. That's the tool. I mean, that's the trigger word now. The trigger word. That's the word now. If you were triggered, ask yourself, okay, but what else was in there? Why did I really explode like that? So one is do a daily checkup. Do it at least 3 times a day, in your morning, in your afternoon, and in your evening. Two, do what I call brain dumping. A lot of us, our brains go 100 miles an hour and we can't sleep. We even think when we're sleeping. We're so busy doing, making life happen that we don't sleep. And when you don't sleep, your body is not allowed to repair. Your brain is not allowed to repair. Your cellular structure is not allowed to repair. Your hormonal system is not allowed to repair. Your respiratory system is not allowed to repair. Your circulatory system, your digestive system, and your immune system, your glandular system, all not allowed to repair. So things are happening in your body that you're even keeping to yourself. And I know that I am talking to someone. You are saying right now, that's why my body feels like this. I'm tired all the time. I can't sleep. I can't go to the bathroom. I have these headaches. My stomach's hurting. I get yeast infections often. All of this. I have the blotches on my face, the pimples, my skin's not right, my hair is thinning. I can't eat right. I'm overeating. All of these things. So a simple one for that, brain dumping. Brain dumping is when you have a journal by your bed at night. Even if I have a number of journals for the powerhouse, but even if you just have to get a notebook, get that notebook, write down all the things that happened in your day. If you haven't checked in with yourself, if you have, then you're okay. Write down a couple of things you're grateful for. Okay. Right before you go to bed, write down a few things, at least 5 things you're grateful for that happened that day. Then write down what you have to do the next day. And I mean, dump everything out of your head, what you need to do, what you need to get done. Okay. You've dumped it all out. Close the book. Put it away from your bed. Turn it over. Put it away from your bed. Put the pen over away from your bed. And then you get in the bed. Put on some calm. I put on praise music every night. Put on some easy music. Or if that's not how you can sleep, if you sleep totally dark, put that on. Turn the TV off and allow yourself, if you need to drink some hot milk, I drink tea before I go to bed. Find something that's going to cause your body to relax. Sometimes you may even need to take, I personally, I'm not recommending this for anybody, but I take Tylenol PM, just one every night, just so that I get into bed. I brain dump, I turn on my praise music, my instrumental, and I just allow myself to fall asleep. And I wake and I look up and my body is fully rested. So that's one. I said I would give you three. The other one is if you have a circle of strength, a circle of strength is 1 to 3, it could be more, but more than likely you won't have more than three true, true that you can just tell anything to. If you have a circle of strength, check in with that circle of strength at least once to twice a week. How are you doing? What's going on with you? This is what happened with me. Don't complain, but talk through some things. Let me tell you the difference. Complaining is, girl, they always, and I can't stand when, and this happened, and that happened, and I'm tired, and somebody said one more thing to me, and I saw this on the news, and okay, wait. Okay, wait. No. Dump the negative. Get off the social media. So that's another one. Get off the social media. Put it down. Give yourself a social media fast. Put it down. But if something happens in your week, talk to your circle of strength and say, this week, can I talk to you for a second? I need your input. I would like your input on this. This happened to me this week, and I was thinking, give me your thoughts on a way that I can handle this or change my frame of mind in thinking about it without ruminating on it and allowing it to change who I am or dictating my behavior or my thoughts. Because if it keeps coming to your thoughts, then you need to handle it. So, and then of course, come to the powerhouse. Get in on the yellow couch conversation.
That's right. I love that the circle of strength. We always usually talk about a board of directors and usually a bigger
Mm-hmm,
group. I love just 2 to 3 because that's
mm-hmm.
manageable and being able to reach out and connect with on a more regular basis. Wow, those were
Yeah,
awesome. Thank you so much. And I also love the brain dump. I have a pad and pen at my bedside for when I wake up in the middle of the night with a thought that I need to write down. But I love being able to get it out of your
yeah.
brain before you sleep so it won't disturb you
Mm-hmm.
while you're sleeping. Oh, I love that. I love that.
Let
So
me tell
any
you about that one though, Dr. E.
uh-huh.
Even that, no, keep the pad by your bed for when you wake up because creatives do that. Women like us who build, we're building. We are just natural creators and builders. So that happens to us. We may wake up like, yes, but that's a separate pad.
Okay.
That's a totally separate pad. Don't do your brain dumping and
Okay.
your creative pad. Don't have them in the same journal.
Okay.
Those are two separate things because they mean two separate things. This one, your brain dumping is getting it out. Your creative is because you're building and creative. That's two separate pieces. These two arms are not the same. Make sure those are separate. But I definitely encourage to do what you're doing and have both.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
You're
Yeah,
welcome.
I get the best ideas there and also in the mornings. Oh, thank you for
Yes.
that. So,
Hmm.
any last words for our audience and how can they get in touch with you? And what free gift may you have for the audience?
All righty. So, last words I would say. Well, first, let me tell you how you can get in contact with me. Ladies, write this down, the Arise Powerhouse, ARISE, group on Facebook. Join the group. We have what we call Yellow Couch Conversations. I have all kind of things in there. Literally, we have over 100 Yellow Couch Conversations from the past 3 years for you to get in on. Where we talk about everything from physical self-care, mental self-care, emotional self-care, relational self-care, getting over trauma and abuse, financial. We have talked about some of everything in that group. So make sure you get in on those past conversations, hashtag replay, and then um, and then also get in on our new ones. We have them every 2 weeks. So that's one of the things I can recommend to you. That's how you get in contact with me. Also, I am on Instagram, Carmela Rochelle Arise. Hit me up there. You can instant message me, but follow me. I have on my Facebook page, excuse me, my Instagram page, I have things, and we had an Empower Her Boundaries class. and you will see all kind of information on there about that. Also, I have a website, CarmelaRochelle.com, CarmellaRochelle, CarmelaRochelle.com. If you want to reach me, you can hit me up there. Go ahead and set an appointment, get on my calendar, and let's talk. I do complimentary 30-minute power talks, power conversations where we sit and we just have a conversation. And then if I can help you, we can proceed from there. But first, it's so important to just have a conversation. So those are the ways that you can reach me. So my last words for you are, at times we feel like if we're not perfect, we're not deserving of love. But what we need to understand is that in our imperfections, we are always worthy of love. But first, before we go seeking love outside, we have to learn to love and take care of ourselves. You are worth taking the time to learn you, to take care of you, to find out what's hurting you, to heal from it, to get your peace, to get your confidence, to get your swag back, to straighten up your crown. You are worth all of that. And I strongly encourage you to do it. Because see, you can't teach your children, you can't teach your daughters how to love themselves if you can't show them how to love you, because you're loving you. Be that example. You can't teach your sons how to love a woman if you are not loving you. He sees you loving you first. You can't teach a man how to love you if he sees you do not love and take care of yourself. You are responsible and powerful enough to love you and elevate your self-care.
I love that. Powerful closing words. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yes,
Thank
audience,
you.
think about that. Look in the mirror and even tell yourself, I love you. And that,
Yes,
those words, you speak those, and that is another affirmation you can add to your affirmation list in the morning. Well,
yes.
thank you so much, Kamala. I am so blessed to have you and to know you. I appreciate you coming
Mhm.
on my summit and sharing. I am moved, and I might need to get 30 minutes on your calendar too for my own situations. So, and anyone else out
Oh,
there, please reach out to her. Um,
yes.
what and even listening to her voice, what a tender voice, a tender soul, non-judgmental. She's a great listener, and join the powerhouse. The yellow couch conversations are so moving.
Yes.
Every topic may not apply to you directly, but there are other subliminal messages in
Hmm.
there that are useful to you. So again, thank you so much for joining me and my Elevate Your Value Summit members. Continue watching for more powerful speakers that will elevate your value. Thank you so much for joining us. Enjoy the
Thank you.
rest.
I'm honored to be
Um,
here.
Thank you. All right. Thank you all.